point where I don't have a whole lot to play,
Right.
but I'm going to have a whole lot to play real quick, and they're all like at least 40-hour games.
Right. Let's make sure.
I'll say the beginning of 2021 is going to be hectic.
Oh, yeah.
With Nocturne, Shin Megami Tensei 5,
Yeah.
East 9. I mean, that's all like February, March-ish.
That's right. Yikes.
But I mean, it's at least got to be better than 2020.
Yeah. You would hope. 2020 has been a good year for games at the very least.
Yeah.
Ah, crap, right. YouTube, of course, completely changed the way that they do live streams. So now our YouTube live stream link is wrong on Twitter.
Nice.
Fantastic. YouTube, why can't you just leave well enough alone? All right. Here's the actual link for YouTube for episode 672 live. Yep. Yeah, okay. Welcome back.
Me
too.
Sorry, I have 90s and 2000s alternative music stuck in my head, but we'll get to that in the show proper.
Don't we all? Okay, you guys ready to start this thing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think I'm recording.
It's okay, I got backups.
Joke's on you.
Gotcha. All right, let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast. I'm your host, Boston. Joining me as always is Moonpier.
Hello.
And the Nymph.
Hello.
Patreon.com/E1M1, the ones are numbers. Get all the cool behind the scenes, early access, uncensored bits of audio that we release every week. We put out a lot of audio every week, and we don't delete any of the backlog on Patreon, so you could just get access to, I think it's hundreds of episodes of audio now for the low price of $5 a month, not $5 an episode, just $5 a month. Yep. Super cheap. Patreon.com/E1M1. Get audio, help me pay for the show, get to the $250 a month goal, and I will start playing scary video games in the dark with my headphones on and stream them and cry. You get the whole full package. It's a great deal. Patreon.com/E1M1. Moon, what have you been playing this past week?
Okay, so I'm actually going to start this past week with this weekend. Mostly because friends of the show over at No Quarters, that's noquarters.net,
correct.
They are running a Labor Day weekend.
It's a great name.
Yeah, really is. Credit to whoever over there came up with that. Where they have been spending this Labor Day weekend basically just playing games, streaming a bunch of stuff, that kind of jazz.
As twitch.tv/noquartersnet for their live streams.
Yep. They have been doing a whole bunch of stuff. They did some Burnout Paradise. They did some Quiplash. So we'll start with Quiplash, shall we? As part of the No Quarters Labor Day weekend. So Friday evening, night, afternoon, I don't even know anymore.
Sometime in 2020.
Yes. Sometime in
that is
Labor
not
Day.
Today.
Right.
They did some Quiplash, so I jumped in, played a couple of rounds with them all, made horrific jokes at Chuck's expense. I'm sorry, Chuck.
As you do. Yeah.
As you do. It got dark really quickly.
Yeah.
As it has a tendency to do.
Right.
But dark funny.
Sure.
Maybe a little bit dark, but mostly dark funny. It was fun. Like, there was a whole bunch of people there. Like, obviously their hosts were all playing, but like a couple of fun people, some chat going on in Twitch. You know what? It's been so long since I've played any of the Jackbox games that I was like fine with that. Like, it's been so long, so the questions aren't old to me or anything like that.
Oh yeah.
It was fun and enjoyable. And I'm not going to lie, I kind of wish they would have played the stupid T-shirt game, because with the power of my tablet, I would have kicked everybody's backside.
That's right. Behold my art.
Yes. Behold my art indeed. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge,
Hey,
specifically to Boston.
This week was really bad for business stuff.
Oh, I know.
Moon and I have been talking about some business stuff on the back end, and Moon sent the final version of business things, and I went, "Oh, I need to look at that," and then it just came right out of my brain.
Nymph, hang on after the show, and I'll show you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yes, it was fun. It was good to play some Quiplash. Good to do that stuff. And then they decided to put up a pinball tournament on Pinball FX3.
Here we go. All right, let's go.
So, of course, I downloaded Pinball FX3 when it first came out because it was free. And I was like, well, I own 29 tables on Pinball FX2. So, of course, I'm going to play this. They did do a test tournament earlier in the week, and I may or may not have joined that and then stomped them all down like the peasants that they are.
Are we playing Crusader Kings 3 now?
Well, there is a table all about Rome in Pinball FX, so that makes perfect sense.
Right.
So in the test run, they ran it on the free table that you get with Pinball FX, and I was like, cool. Slight problem. None of my tables imported from Pinball FX2.
Okay, interesting.
So I was like, well, there's 96 tables here, and I've got one. So something clearly is not working here.
I'm missing one or two here.
Yes. So I did some looking into it, and apparently the table import feature is a little bit questionable on the Xbox version of the game, and also apparently on the PC and Windows 10 version too.
Okay.
Just to make things more fun. It seems to run smoothly on PS4 and on
Switch, iOS.
Switch it seems to go okay on, but the Steam version also seems to be great.
Okay.
But the Windows 10 version sucks.
Well, that's sort of par for the course.
Windows 10 is also what you. So the recommendation from the community was reach out to the support team, see if they can help you. So I was like, okay, here we go. I'm going to send them.
Was it a 5-hour Twitch stream with you on customer support with them trying to get your pinball tables over?
Well, actually, no. It was me sending them an email saying, my table import feature is not working. I've tried uninstalling and reinstalling the game. I've tried just going to the store page version for the new tables, which says I have to buy them again. I've tried logging in and logging out of my Zen Studios account. So basically doing what all three of us do all of the time, which is
the tier 1 tech support.
But did you shut it off and turn it back on? Did you disconnect it from the network?
Right. I punched my face so hard. Every time I call the tech support place, I always say the same thing. Yes, I have tried turning it on and off again. Yes, I've tried uninstalling and reinstalling. And then they still have to go through it because that's what they're trained to do.
I feel your pain because I always tell them too. It's like, dude, I know what I'm talking about. I will let you say your piece, but just know after you answer or ask your question, the answer is yes. Move on.
I know your boss is listening. I don't want you to get in trouble, but yes.
So I just sent them an email steps I'd gone through, and I got an email back saying, "Okay, so can you do me a favor and go to this link, which is the Microsoft Store, and just show us proof of purchase?" And I was like, "Dude, I purchased 90% of these on the 360 version where it was in Microsoft points, and it doesn't tell you what you purchased."
Okay. A fun wrinkle.
Yeah. But the second sentence he said was, or just send me a screenshot of your Pinball FX2 dashboard.
Well, I got that, sure.
Loaded up Pinball FX2 dashboard, 9 screenshots later, attached them to an email, sent them off. 2 days later, I get an email. Try these links. Okay. Here's a link. Click the link. It goes straight to the Xbox Store with a code already imported for one of the tables I own.
Dope.
Hit next. Hit yes. Hit the next link. New store page. New code. New everything. Hit next. Hit yes. 26 code inputs later, and I'm back up to date on Pinball.
Thankfully, not 95.
Yes, thankfully not 95.
That's cool.
I'm not T-Bomb Rocks from the community. I'm not an idiot. Sorry, T. I love you, really.
We love you, T.
I'm not kidding. He has 95 of the 96 tables in that game.
Oh, man. That's cool. Yes. I'm glad they were able to just like, here's an email full of links, go nuts. Sorry it didn't work.
Yeah, so in response to him, I said, thank you very much. As a sign of my gratitude, I have now bought the Williams Table Collection Volume 1, and I have also bought the Williams Table Collection Volume 4. Nice. Volume 4, because it had Monster Madness in, which is one of the No Quarters tournaments. So I picked up the DLC based on that. And Volume 1, because it has Medieval Madness in it. And I'm stupid to not buy that.
Yeah, you got to have that. Yeah.
Which, by the way, as a test, I loaded up Medieval Madness in Pinball FX3. This is, by the way, folks, not Pinball Arcade, the legendary version that we all loved, but Pinball FX3. And I immediately dropped Royal Multi-Ball, Peasant Multi-Ball, like 7 different multi-balls.
Killing Dragons.
There's the Trolls, there's the Castle Multi-Ball. Dropped to like a 93 million score on my first attempt without even trying. I was like, okay, so the engine's good. If I can play this familiar with that engine on a new game completely, they've done a good job. So
it's really good.
That's the fun thing about Pinball FX3, folks, is it has 2 types of engines in the game. It has the Pinball FX table engine, and it has the Williams engine in it now as well. Right. So yeah, I may or may not have joined in with the No Quarters tournaments for the actual Labor Day weekend. And I may or may not still be number 1 on both of those tables right now.
There you go. As it should be.
you saw my tweet, Boston. You saw I was 5 million off RoboPig. Who was in first place. Right. And I was so annoyed because it was 2 stupid mistakes which led to 2 drains that cost me the 5 million. Like, this will not stand. Not in my house.
That's right. TVGP represent.
100%. So I jumped in there and I took that 445 million he scored and I took it to 527.
Take that.
I can remember the bloodletting when we used to have forums for all of the podcasts, and you would just see people post pictures, and then like an hour later, you would see someone else post another picture, be like, "No, it just beat you by 5 mil," and then an hour later, someone's like, "No, it just beat you." It's
the the Luminous and the Pinball Arcade days were dark days. Someone just posting a score where it's like 25 million. It's like, oof, I gotta go.
I'm just sitting there like, been playing this table for 5 minutes and I didn't lose a ball yet.
World champion.
The Monster Mash table the high score was like 60 million and I was getting like a solid 18-20 because I'd never played that table before, which for those who are listening who are not pinball idiots like we are, no, we're not pinball wizards, we're pinball idiots. That's what we do.
I don't know any magic.
So the thing about pinball is if you are like me and you previously held the opinion of, well, all pinball tables are the same. You hit the buttons and the balls go.
Yeah, like, I hit the bumpers. Bing, 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 bing. Yep.
Yeah.
Dumb and bad.
Until you realize that every table has a story to tell. Every table has modes to activate. Every table has a wizard mode, which is your score-getting moments of opportunity.
Right.
I've never played the Monster Mash table before, so I don't know that table at all. I just don't. So top score of 66 million, me averaging about 18. I was like, that's fine. I can come in second place for the Monster Mash table. That's fine. I now own first place quite securely, I feel, in the Sorcerer's Lair table. But what if? What if I just played Monster Mash for maybe 7 or 8 more turns?
Sure.
What's that, 66 million? I'm looking down from up here at my 107 million score thinking, who's going to catch me?
I like the fact that you're like letting your hubris show here when we have no opportunity to look at your console for a couple of hours.
100%. And we're live streaming this, so there's plenty of time for somebody who might be watching this or listening to this to go on and trash my scores. And the tournament doesn't end for another day and change. So by the time this is released to the public feed, all of this might be different.
Right.
But at this moment in time, I am the god of the no quarters play of the day weekend.
I love it.
It saves them right for beating me at Quiplash so bad because I did terribly in Quiplash.
That's right. You got to get your revenge.
It was late. I was in a party. I was getting talked to, and I was listening to Twitch stream and trying to fill out puns at the same time. I was doing like 6 things at once. You've got to give me a break for that stuff.
That's right.
But yes, come at me, bro. I'm not kidding. This is a problem. Like, I should not have started playing pinball games again.
But Pinball FX 3 is good. Like as sort of pinball, the first Pinball FX was fine. Like you could sort of see what they were going for, but they didn't have a lot of licensed tables, if any at all. I don't remember.
And then they got the Marvel stuff for FX2, and
right. And it's like, okay, cool. Like you're starting to make your own tables, and the tables in 2 are better than the ones from 1. So like you're clearly getting better, and like 3 is just a really solid game.
Yeah, and I like the fact that like it's the biggest difference between the Williams tables and the Pinball FX ones is the Williams tables are all real tables.
Yeah,
and they feel really good to play on, which surprised me the most was how good those Williams tables feel to play these days.
Yeah,
because that engine for Pinball Arcade was a top-notch engine like that.
Yep.
I don't think the Pinball FX engine is just quite there yet. It's maybe a couple of tweaks here and there.
It's really close.
Or it is as close as you can be without having that engine right now.
Right.
But the stuff they've always done with their tables, where it's like, oh, here is Tony Stark on the Iron Man table, and then as you perform different modes, his armor gets filled out, and then when you activate Wizard mode, he turns into Iron Man.
Yep.
And it's this whole ordeal, stuff you'd never see on real tables. Like, that's the stuff which I love about their tables.
Yeah.
Like, they've done such a good job, and very similar to Warframe, very similar to Elite Dangerous, where it's just a small team who just seem to be plugging away at something that they love.
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing really good at it. And like I said, I jumped into Medieval Madness and got like 90 million without even blinking. So right. I guess now I have to go through Pinball FX3 and then promptly set those record high scores on every single table I own.
Naturally.
To make sure everybody knows whose house this is.
Who the god of pinball is.
Yes. 100%.
Do they still have that leaderboard set up where you look at a table and it should... Okay.
It shows everybody's scores. And because it's Pinball FX3, they couldn't carry it over with 2, so all of the 2 scores are now locked in. So you can go and play Pinball FX2 and then get to the top of those ones, but then you go to Pinball FX3 and all of the leaderboards are blank. And what's that, Justin? 6 million? How dare you do such a terrible score? Let me just come in here and drop a bomb. I'm not competitive normally.
No, but pinball...
But give me a leaderboard, and we'll see who goes where. This just reminds me of CEDX all over again.
Yeah.
Like CEDX and Geometry Wars 2.
Oh, God, Geometry Wars 2 was a problem.
Yeah, same. It's leaderboards.
It's like the solo competitive leaderboards.
Well, I was going to say, are we going to have a podcast war now because of this little pinball table incident?
I hope not. I like no quarters.
It depends on if no quarters accept my victory or if they want to try and retaliate against me in my godhood.
Sure. Do you challenge a deity?
Yes. I've been reading a lot of Dune, and there's a lot of references to Menace gods in that series, so that's fun. Quick note, though. On my Pinball FX3 Sorcerer's Lair run, I managed to basically get every single piece of obsidian, which is the thing that you get for doing the mini modes, and do the Midnight Madness, and get the stairwell bonus. There is only one achievement for Sorcerer's Lair in Pinball FX3. In Pinball FX2, Sorcerer's Lair is every achievement in that game. There is no leaderboards or anything like that. It's just these are the goals for that table. Get these to get achievements.
Okay.
I've never got the stairway bonus, and I've never gotten all pieces of obsidian in Pinball FX2. So I did something in 3 that would have netted me 2 achievements in 2 and give me that 100% retail completion on that game as well.
Right.
So I'm less than happy about that situation.
I
spent a lot of time before the show today playing Pinball FX2 to try and get those 2 stupid
I was about to say, like, naturally the next step is let's just grab Pinball FX2.
I now know I can do it.
Right. It is
which
possible.
Is the problem.
In your godhood, anything is possible.
Exactly.
Love it.
Anyway, moving swiftly on. So yes, that's Labor Day weekend over at noquarters.net. I also played Ori and the Will of the Wisps.
I decided new one, right?
Yes, Will of the Wisps is the new one. And my first note here says, this was a 2020 game, right?
Yes, about 5 years ago it came out in March.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm trying to bounce off a lot of 2020 games, at
Ditto.
least complete them because it's September, and oh boy, does that...
As we talked about, Game of the Year looms.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, it was one of those games that everyone was real hot on for like a month.
And then
just like everyone beat it and they were done.
Yeah.
It also had a lot of performance issues. Even on the Xbox One X,
yeah,
had a lot of performance issues.
Even on PC, it was hitchy early on.
Yeah. Seems to run smooth as silk now.
Oh, good.
No issues at all on my side for this game. Seems to be absolutely fantastic. I got to the place where you build the things. I got to the Hollow Knight inspiration, we'll say.
Right.
And now I'm in the process of getting all of the other wills.
Mm-hmm.
Wisps, the other wisps,
I think. Yeah.
Not the other wills. The other wills is my will to crush you. I'm in the process of getting the other wisps. I cleverly went to the desert location first and got all the way to the door. It was like, but no, this wisp doesn't come out until you got the other three, mate. What are you doing? Why did you come to the desert area first?
Right.
Like, really? We're going to go through that now?
Got that area mapped now.
Well, I'm going to teleport right next to the door now, so that's fine. As soon as I get all the other ones, I can just jump right over. But yes, the game still feels great. It plays fantastically. The story is still top-notch. It's more of the same for Ori. And as we discussed when we played it for Game Club, Ori is possibly one of the best Metroidvanias in the past, 20 years, maybe.
Yeah, and Will the Wisps takes a lot of inspiration from Hollow Knight, too, to kind of, take that next step, where it's not just, I think the next step for a lot of Metroidvanias is, well, here's the last game, but now it's 3 times as big. I think it takes a lot of smart inspirations from Hollow Knight. Seeing them put out Will of the Wisps and it being so influenced from Hollow Knight and sort of take this next step makes me really excited for Axiom Verge 2, because I want to see what that dude does with another one of those. Because I feel like...
You saw what he did when he twisted the Metroidvania. Let's see how he's going to twist the Hollow Knight kind of thing.
We're what do you do with a sequel to a game that already, put some of that genre on its head? I'm really looking forward to that game. I think it got delayed till next year.
But yeah, no, Ori is a really good game still.
Yeah.
I'm also at the point where I've got a lot of the mobility upgrades. I've got the grappling hook, I've got the double and the triple jump, I've got the dashes,
the thing where you swap with the bullets that I love.
Yep. I've got that's the very first thing you get. It's so good to get that so early.
It's really pretty
game in the first one.
Well, it's so funny too, because after you finish the first one, when they give you that really early on, there's a bunch where it's how do I get this upgrade all the way up here? And if you play the first one, it's well, there's 2 of these spitting guys, so I just bounce off all the way up. Oh, I got it. Hey, that's awesome. It's just
yeah, and it's a really good game. Did you beat this, by the way, Boston, or did you do what I did, played it for 4 hours and then dead stopped?
100% played it for 4 hours and stopped, because I was having performance issues on my PC that was fine for the first couple of areas in the game, but after you talk to that big turtle or frog or whatever, and the whole game opens up a little bit, that point where you're past now. Once you start building that town, the game for some reason just got really bogged down to the point where I was having enough frame rate issues that you have to have Hollow Knight, you have to have that game running smoothly.
Yeah. I had similar issues. I had hitches and frame rate issues when I first started playing it, which is one of the reasons I stopped. And it seems to have fixed that. I haven't.
I'll have to give it another shot.
Single crash, nothing like that.
I really loved what I played. It's just one of those things where it's like, well, it's not running great now, so let's kind of move on to the next thing, and I never got back to it.
Same. This is inspired by me looking at a 2020 games list that came out this year and thinking to myself, I should probably play these games, and then promptly forgetting when they come out.
Yeah, especially the ones that are like in the running for the top 10. It's like, I want to knock out some of this stuff. Like, it's September, so Right. Like, it's September, so I got some time, but like, gotta start. I'm in the same boat where it's like, I gotta start making an effort on some of this stuff.
Yeah, let me tell you, Fast and Furious Crossroads, no worries there, mate. Don't you worry about your top 10.
Right, yeah. At the very least, I'll be like, here's my top 8. Finish 9 this year.
Ori was pretty solid.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it so far. And again, I think we mentioned it when we did the game club on it, but some of the best music in video games.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah. It's like, so good.
Again, this song comes up again in the show. I am a fan of One Winged Angel. It is one of the most influential pieces of video game music of all time. Ori poops all over that from the sky. Like, every single piece of music in Ori is a thing of beauty.
I'm really excited for the smart delivery patch for this on the Series X, because I don't have a console. I don't have an Xbox console that's capable of 4K and HDR. So like for me, this would be a monumental graphical leap, because like my video card in my PC, I have a 1060, so I can comfortably run stuff at 1080 60, but I'm obviously not going to be pushing 4K. And to me, and then having that like 120 hertz mode too would be like, yeah, this would be a really good reason to get a Series X.
Yeah, and get it as soon as it comes out, and then try and beat that game before Game of the Year. That's your challenge.
That might be my plan. Well, depending on when the Series X comes out and how much it costs, because who knows? Yeah,
I'll tell you what, if the Series X is going to cost, it's going to cost exactly what the PlayStation 5 costs.
Right.
There you go.
Or like $50 less.
Yes, one of the two.
Yeah.
Okay, speaking of 2020, let's talk about a game that's technically been out for 2 years.
Okay.
But officially released in 2020.
Okay.
We're talking about Deep Rock Galactic.
Okay.
So, for those of you who don't know, Deep Rock Galactic is a 4-player dungeon exploring kind of game where you play as dwarves who are mining on a foreign planet, and you basically have missions, and it's, here is a mission, go get this amount of this type of ore, then bring it back. You get chucked in a big giant drill, you get sent to the depth of these mines, you come out, you mine the stuff, and also because it was 6.2 gigs.
Nice.
Because the dungeons are procedurally generated.
Aha.
So the big thing with Deep Rock Galactic is this seems like one of those games that is endlessly playable.
Were you playing it with people?
I played it once with my wife and M, a friend of the show, M, who, this game has bugs. So guess what M doesn't like? Bugs. Guess what's hilarious whenever there's bugs on the screen? M screaming, yelling, no, 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 and running away, even though she hasn't even seen them yet. She just
shoot the bugs.
Yes.
Kill them bugs. Revenge.
So originally I was playing as the driller, and then I was like, well, because it's class-based as well. Like, there's 4 dwarf classes, and you can choose which class you want to be, and then so on and so forth. So I was playing as the driller, and then I thought, well, no, now I'm going to change my mind, and I'm going to play the gunner, because clearly M needs someone to white knight for her, to be her minigun savior in the darkness. So I became that guy, and started playing as the gunner. And then I played a single mission by myself, just to see how it works. When you're playing by yourself, you actually get a little drone who follows you around, and you can order them to go mine stuff and things like that.
Oh, cool.
Which is pretty cool. And then I played a little bit with Rob, friend of the show, Rob again. And we probably played about 7 or 8 missions together yesterday, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
What? Genuinely, the game is just fun. Like it's like the difference in everybody's classes is really, really cool. Like everyone can do different things. Get the support guy can like plant platforms that you can jump off, like to get to higher spaces. The gunner's got a zip line that you can use to do a similar thing, but over better distances. Like everybody's got their own like special skills. And of course, you can level all of these classes up. You can unlock new perks. You can unlock new equipment, and you can.
No!
You know how we like bars to fill,
and procedural generation. Like this is trouble.
Let me tell you about the bajillions of bars that exist in this game.
Yeah.
So many bars: XP bars, account level bars, perk bars, task bars, mission bars,
class bars.
There is 7 terminals at the home base that I cannot currently access because I haven't promoted a character, which I'm assuming means prestige one of the characters.
Right.
So you have bars you can't access because you haven't fulfilled the other bars.
And while we're speaking of bars, there is an actual bar that you can get drinks from while filling bars.
Perfect. I mean, they are dwarves, so like you sort of have to have that.
And they look all kinds of dwarvish. Like they have the beards, the hair, the big clunky stuff. And if you click right stick, you do a taunt, and they do stuff like yell for rock and stone.
Great.
They make dumb jokes all of the time, real dad jokes. You can buy a round of booze at the bar, and then you can do toasts and cheer, and everybody drinks and their stuff down.
Guys, this looks really good.
It might be problematic.
Yeah.
I literally picked this up on a whim. And then this week I just happened to be annoyed at work, and I sent my wife a text and was like, I'd really like to try Deep Rock Galactic with you today.
Try something fresh.
Yeah, when I get home from work. And she was like, cool. She was having a bad day, so she bought a copy for M. Who then joined us in and played it. And my wife liked it. She'd like to see it in the rotation a bit more, which is based on the type of game it is. For me, that's good because I can play it with other people, and I'm not going to get that huge of an advantage over my wife. Like, we only play certain games together because there are certain types of games when you play co-op. If one person, Diablo is a great example of this. If one person suddenly plays 3 story chapters in Diablo, the person who didn't play with them is suddenly in the distance and not able to do anything.
Right. It's like playing an MMO where it's like, oh, I played this last weekend. It's like, oh, cool, I just got to level 5. And it's like, yeah, I got to level 70. It's like, oh, cool.
I don't have to worry about that because I've got 3 different classes I can play.
Right.
If I don't want to play my primary, which is the gunner. And even if I do, the upgrades are not that significant.
Sure, they'll give you like a little bit of a leg up, but it's not like, keep up everyone, and you're just clearing out walls.
This isn't speedrunning me through Borderlands because you're level 90, and it's like, I don't even know what the story is right now because everybody
How do we shoot the guns?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's nowhere near that bad, and honestly, it's really stupid fun to just jump in. The missions are very simple. It's like, here is an egg hunt. Go find these eggs. I'm not going to tell you where the eggs are because that's gross and you'll have to figure that out by yourself.
Oh, yuck.
You get like a primary objective and a secondary objective. You get rewards based on what you do. You have perks to increase. You can spend those perk points on perks. You can upgrade your equipment, but none of it seems like a super overpowered thing. And it scales its difficulty really aggressively.
No, nice.
Because when me and Jess played, we played a 2-player mission on the medium difficulty. And we crushed it. We just cruised through it like it didn't even exist. And then me, Jess, and M played together, and the same difficulty with 3 people, and we got stomped.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Part of that could be inexperience. Part of that could be the fact that we were literally trapped in a wall with giant bug monsters smashing our faces in.
Or it's expecting you to have like more synergy between your classes.
Exactly.
Right.
And we were all different classes, but it was one of those things where it was literally M's first go at the game, my second, and my wife's second. So maybe tick it down a difficulty level in that case.
Right. Start on easy a little bit.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, it gives like different size or complexity of caves, and it's fun trying to find your way around. And it's totally destructible too. So it's like if you use the holographic like terrain scanner, you're like, there's a tunnel right next to me to my left, but I can't find a way to it. So you literally just dig through the wall and you're in that tunnel.
Oh, this game is only $30 too.
I think I picked it up when it was like $7 on sale.
Wow. Yeah, they have like an ultimate edition where it's like you can get the future DLC packs. That's $50, and they have like a deluxe edition. But yeah, like the base game is only $30.
Mm-hmm. And so far, it's a game full of personality and vim and vigor. It's just a really solid game.
That looks cool.
That I might be playing a lot more of, because guess what, folks? Hashtag Game of the Year 2020 fast approaches.
Right. That's Deep Rock Galactic.
I was going to say, did you do the barrel toss game?
No, let's talk about the barrel toss game. At the hub, there's a whole bunch of different terminals. The bars there. There's a jukebox there where you can hit the music and do a bunch of dwarf dances, which is great. There is a barrel and a hoop that moves backwards and forwards, and you kick the barrel, it goes in the hoop.
Mm-hmm.
You get points. You do it 10 times in a row, you get an achievement for it.
Oh, no.
Playing in my game with my wife comes along, kicks it in there. I'm exploring, she's kicking it in there. I think we were waiting for Em to finish installing it. So she gets the achievement for kicking the barrel in 10 times and then wanders off and finds something else to look at. I run over there, kick the barrel once, it goes in the hoop, and then I get the achievement for kicking it in 10 times without missing.
Oh, no.
So I literally kicked it once, got the achievement. Like, I'm done. I don't care. I'm done. I completed my quest of getting that achievement by kicking the barrel once.
Right.
Even if 9 of them were hair kicks, I still got the achievement.
Oh, no.
So I'm fine with that.
Right.
So much stuff going on. Like,
that sounds really cool.
It's genuinely fun. It was brought to my attention by like the Giant Bomb crew, and like I've seen clips of it in their best of like videos. I kind of always grabbed my attention, but then I got annoyed one day and on a whim just bought it. So why not? Speaking of on a whim buying it, and speaking of hashtag Game of the Year 2020, my final game this week. I'm sorry, folks. I've got like so many games this week. It's ridiculous.
Nip and I both have one, so like, no worries.
So, how do you feel about Superman?
He's fine.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the song Superman as you drop into the warehouse on Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2?
Now we're talking.
There we go.
It's radical, tubular. That's the 80s.
Yes. It's a bit too far back.
A little bit.
So, do you remember, we talked about this with remakes before. The best remakes play the way you remember the game playing.
Right.
And oh boy, does Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 plus 2 100% play how you remember the game playing.
I love seeing these videos from people on Twitter where it's like, I just fired up this game and hey, all the combos still work, and they're racking up like a 30 million score thing in the warehouse. And it's like, yeah, that's as someone who hasn't played this, that's exactly what I want. It
literally took me 2 runs to complete all of the missions in the warehouse.
Perfect.
When I first played that game, it took me about 30 to figure out so much of that stuff. Yeah. But now, 2 done and dusted.
Yeah.
Oh, we're at the mall next. Guess what? 4 runs done. Get out of here.
Moving on to the school. Let's do it.
Actually, that is the second level. That was like 4 runs because that was like 6 actually because I lost track of where one of the bells were because they.
That's always the hardest one.
But yeah, like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 is 1,000% Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2.
Yep.
It looks amazing. I love the fact that they, for the promo for this game, they actually built the warehouse and Tony Hawk skated it.
I had no idea. That's great.
He literally it's in one of the trailers for it. Like they literally built the warehouse and Tony Hawk skated the actual warehouse while intercutting it with footage from the game so well that I can't tell what's from the game and what's real life Tony Hawk.
Oh, I'm gonna put it on here. I'm gonna put it on stream here too. Hold on.
Did they keep the unlockable characters?
I don't know if all the unlockable characters are in there because I'm only about halfway through Pro Skater 1.
I know they have new unlockable characters, but I don't know if they kept the original ones too.
I don't know if Spider-Man's going to be in it, for example.
I was going to say, I think Spider-Man was the big hangover, but they weren't sure if they'd be able to get him or not.
I know that Mall Cop is in there, but I don't know about anything else.
I think you'll find his name is Officer Dick. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I was right. It was either Dick or Donut. I couldn't remember.
Yep. But yeah, if you're watching the live stream, obviously you are watching Tony Hawk literally skate
skating the warehouse.
Like, it's ridiculous. And I think, if I remember right, they are actually playing Superman during that trailer as well.
Yeah, I don't have the sound on, thankfully.
I figured. Just to make things more nostalgic. But yeah, like I said, I'm only about halfway through Pro Skater 1 at the moment. But yeah, it feels and plays and looks like it. And I created myself, of course, as we have discussed previously. I have a problem with not being able to not create myself.
Mm-hmm.
I made myself. One of the skate companies has a knockoff Punisher t-shirt, so of course I put that on too.
Sure.
It feels so good.
It's funny that there's like not a lot to talk about this game because it's just HD Tony Hawk 1 and 2, like down to the nuts and bolts.
Mm-hmm. The gaps are all the same. Like, people, we've had this question frequently. Like, what are the things you did before achievements? Before you had a reason to do it,
right.
What are the things you did?
Right.
And for me, it's like, okay, I got 100% on GTA 3. I got 100% on like GTA 4, GTA 2, all these things. I always went for collectibles and stuff like that. And only now playing this game did I remember, crap, I did a gap checklist and got every single gap on every single level in every single Tony Hawk game before it was #cool to do so.
Well, like, a lot of them were just like, oh, you have to go all the way up to the roof and you have to go through this specific tiny little thing, and there's a very special one that has like a punny name.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's so good. And the fact that, like, for those of you who don't know as well, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, all of the original skaters are back.
Yes.
They brought them in and they 3D scanned every single one of them.
And they didn't like de-age them. No, they're just like, no, they're old now.
Tony Hawk rolling around. It's 54-year-old Rodney Mullen rolling around, and they're wearing clothes from their own wardrobes. So it's literally all those people, and there's a whole bunch of kids in there as well. Like, spoiler alert, other girls other than Alyssa Streamer skate. And now they have more females in the roster skating.
Yeah, Brain Eater in chat says they added a ton of new skaters too, which is...
Yeah, there's so many kids. Riley's in there as well, which is great, which is Tony Hawk's kid.
Right.
Old Chad Musker is hilarious because he does not look the same at all.
I really love that they just like they just like scan these people in and they're like, we're not gonna like de-age them with CG or anything. It's like, no, man, Tony Hawk's in his 50s, whatever.
Yeah,
skate in the warehouse.
A bunch of like voice lines too. So like anytime you fall over, the skaters go and
great.
You can tell that's Tony Hawk making that noise because you know his voice now because it's 40 years later or whatever. But
right.
You can hear Tony Hawk making those noises. And the weird thing is the bails.
Okay.
When you bail, the skater just doesn't get up, suddenly teleport a skateboard to themselves again, and then start rolling off. It does like this VHS like squibbly like effect,
staticky sort of thing,
like a rewind kind of thing. Your character goes all pixelated and then is just standing there with a skateboard.
That's cool. That's really cool.
Presentation wise, it looks fantastic. It's got so many different modes. It's got a very impressive creator park, including weirdly enough, like I can't remember the name of it. It's like smart lengths or something. It's like, oh, here's a quarter pipe that you can stretch, bend at will, increase the height, increase it is, and like rails that you can make wibbly wobbly, flexy up like a roller coaster. There is so much depth to this game. It's unbelievable. Online works pretty okay. I did a couple of matches and online. I just jumped in like immediately, like 6 random people, and we're all skating down to San Francisco, which I haven't reached yet in Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1, so I completely forgot that level.
I really hope that from the Creative Park stuff that people are creating, especially during 2020 with the coronavirus. I really hope that people are creating their hometown parks. Like, this is the park in like the middle of nowhere, Nebraska, and it's the one that me and my friends all skate at, and here it is.
Yeah. Which, speaking of which, like the whole 2020, I don't know if you saw this going around on Twitter, but Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is the first video game I have seen incorporate 2020.
Oh, yeah. It's like wear a mask, wash your hands.
Yeah.
School's closed.
Like, literally on the school level, it's got a big billboard apologizing from the faculty. The situation isn't great right now, and they're trying to do their best to get everything back as normal as quickly as they can.
Right.
Which is great, and then characters can wear a mask in the game, like proper different kinds of masks and stuff like that are in there. And it's also a perfectly logical reason as to why there's nobody around in universe for all of this empty schoolyard. Why is downtown deserted? Because everybody's inside doing self-isolation. It makes perfect sense.
It truly is a perfect world.
So, until you walk out your front door and realize that's not true.
Yeah.
Well, in the downtown area, there are still cars that run you over, so it makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
But no, it's great. Like, I think I can't remember who it was, but someone did tweet about this, and I think it perfectly sums it up. The Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2 remaster, it needs a patch to stop 32-year-old men who still buy DCs from staying up till 3 a.m. in the morning playing it.
Right.
Which is pretty accurate, because all I wanted to do last night, was it last night or the night before? I can't remember. One of the nights over this week, I had to force myself to stop playing it.
Right. Not one more run.
Get all the stuff done.
Right.
Because otherwise it was just going to be, oh, guess what? I'm just going to play Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2, because I need to feel alive again, and I need to feel it like I was 13, not like when I was 13 it was any much better than it is now, to be completely honest. But anyway, enough depression for now. Nim, tell me all about your game.
Well, I didn't ollie my way through this, so...
Hey-o.
So, first game that I played this week, Bloodborne, I jumped into that a little bit. I didn't do much of anything. I pretty much just grinded a bunch of blood echoes so I could get my Canehurst armor. I did a little bit of exploring. I was victorious in a couple of things, nothing worth mentioning, and I decided to stop playing because it's... yeah.
You don't want to dive all the way back into it right now?
Yeah. It's just my mindset right now. I am just completely not feeling this game anymore right now, which is what had me... It's not that the game's bad, and it's not that I dislike it. It's just I am completely not feeling it right now.
Yeah.
It's like I could force myself to play it, but why bother at that point?
Right.
So from there, because Boston had played Darksiders Genesis last week, I remembered that I had Darksiders 3 on my PlayStation because it was a PS Plus game forever ago. I was like, all right, let's try that. I haven't
played that.
Yeah, I hadn't either. And that's when I was reminded that this was it was modeled after Dark Souls.
Oh, right. Yeah, because I think they even patched in later a different control scheme, but at the beginning it was like, no, man, this is really like that deliberate combat.
Yes, and it's janky as the original Dark Souls.
Perfect.
Yeah, and the hitboxes are horrible, where I am getting arrows shot at my character, and it's like, I don't know, like 3 feet away from my character's head, but it's stuck in the air. But I still took damage for it.
Yep.
Some of the puzzles in this are kind of a pain too, where there's no real logic to how the puzzle works or why it works. So there's been 2 of them that I've had to watch a video, and they're like, oh yeah, just do this and this. And it's like, but I already did this and this, and it's not working. And then it just turns out that, because the game, for some reason, was one button or something was slower than the other one, it didn't decide to connect. I don't know. It's
Darksiders 3 is broken in places, just so you know.
So
complaints about that.
Yeah.
Before we continue, real quick, just got an email from our power company saying that we might have rolling power outages that last up to an hour. So, fair warning. Yeah, fair warning if the show just disappears for a little bit. That'll be why.
It's not because I did anything.
Right.
But yeah, I don't even know how far into the game I'm in. I haven't looked at a guide or anything. Besides trying to figure out why these two puzzles were not working the way I thought they should, and then finding out no, they should have worked that way. It's just the game was not working that way.
Darksiders.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, it's fun. It's very, very Dark Souls light. So if you're worried because I said Dark Souls, don't be.
Right.
It has I believe they patched in the story mode at some point. Because I'm playing it on normal.
Okay.
But I believe that they have a story mode that you can select, so that way you're just not getting the crap beat out of you. So
right.
Give it a shot. Why not? Especially if you got it for free.
Right.
Next game that I played, Everspace. I'm on my 5th run now, and my 4th run was when I figured out that your canopy can be blown out. And I was having Elite Dangerous PTSD with the Vulture.
Right.
Because I didn't have any nanobots and I didn't have any gas.
Oh.
Yeah. Because this was like literally the second node into the first map. The first thing that attacks me blows up my canopy. I'm like, what the heck is going on? So I died. But not there, because at this point I'm like, okay, screw it. There's nothing happening in this section. Let me go to the next one. Let me see if I can find stuff. Nothing was happening there. I was still good on fuel. Jumped to the next one. I basically got to the last node on the first sector, and there was those asteroid harvesters that were putting out gas. Like, sweet. I just picked up 5 nanobots from killing this other thing that was annoying me. I have what I need for that. I just need 8 units of gas so I can fix this. Those auto excavators do not go very fast, so I'm getting like 1 gas every, I don't know, 10-20 seconds.
Right.
And I got to 7 gas and my shit blew up.
Oh no.
It was just one of those runs where nothing I could do. Nothing was going my way. I was like, all right, screw it, whatever. I still managed to get like 4,000 credits, so I upgraded a bunch of stuff on my pilot. Whatever, let's go for another run.
God, I love roguelikes.
I do and I don't.
Yeah, ditto.
What I like about Everspace is that, so there's NPCs that you can find throughout the sectors and the different nodes. Every time you speak to one of them, it kind of like saves your progression with that NPC. So if you die or if you continue to progress, the next time that you run into that NPC, it will progress, whatever quest line or story or whatever.
Right. I liked that a lot.
Yeah. So you're always feeling like you are accomplishing something.
And you're upgrading your pilot and your ship, and there are a bunch of upgrades that are pretty cheap. So even if you have a bad run, it's like, I made 1,000. It's like you probably still upgrade something.
Yeah, so that's well and good.
Yeah,
and it's a space game. I'm a sucker for space games,
and it looks so good.
Yeah, especially on my PC. I'm surprised at how well it looks on my computer. But so my 5th run. The second jump that I did into Sector 2 on the second node, I ran into an NPC that I had talked to, I don't know, like, I think on run 3 or whatever. This person just randomly gave me items. And I just happened to run into them again. And they were like, hey, I'm here to help fix this stuff. Why don't you just come with me and, give me backup in case people show up? I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah, sure. I got the gunship. Praise be.
Yeah, exactly. So there was 4 of them that we had to fix. We get to like the 3rd one, and all of a sudden like this Corvette pulls in, and she freaks out and she guns it. And I was about to gun it too until I remembered Moon saying that, try it. I'm like, all right, screw it, let's try it. He's maybe setting me up for failure, but I got nothing else going on, right?
Would I do that?
Yes.
I admit it, I would.
So, just to be on the safe side, I was bobbing in and out of asteroids, so that way it just couldn't get a straight beam on me. And I get underneath it where there's only 2 turrets instead of 5 turrets trying to shoot me, and I just lay into this thing, and I drop its shields. I pop my cannon, so I've got my 360 cannon up top that's laying into it. I get its shields down. I've got these heavy missiles that I haven't had a chance to use yet, so I pop 4 of those, and this thing's gone.
Yep.
I'm like,
gunship.
Yes.
Don't mess with the gunship.
I am the mechanical god now.
Right.
And right after that happened, 2 more cruisers popped in, or corvettes popped in. I'm like, screw it, I'm feeling frisky. Let's go for it.
That's right. That's right.
Cook them out, no problem.
Gunship. Ka-chow.
That, my God, I'm glad it's in this game, but that ship is way broke.
I said it on We Rogue Like It. It's so strong. It feels like one of those ships that you get for 100% completing the game, where it's like, look, you've done everything. Here's the overpowered, like, just mess the rest of this game up. It's like, no, man, it's like 5,000 credits. Go crazy.
Yeah, and it's balanced enough that if you take too many chances or if you're not paying attention, you'll die. I mean, it's not invincible.
Yeah.
But if you know what you're doing and you're kind of smart about it, you will reap death across the galaxy.
Right.
So good. Yeah. But after that one, what was it that I got into like a massive fight after, like I took out those corvettes, no problem. I get into the next sector. All of a sudden I get into another massive fight and there's like no nanobots anywhere. And I've got like this tiny little sliver of armor. I jump into the next area and it's one of those ancient pillar things with the solar ball thing. And this one is shooting. It's the normal one, or the first one that I'd fought, shot like these homing missile kind of things, these homing beacons of light at you. This one is doing that, and there's these globs that are following you, and if they hit you, they jack you up. And so
the very first time you kill one is when it starts to spawn those second ones.
Yep. So with this itty-bitty little sliver of health, I'm just like, I'm not going to make this. So I just turn on damage dampening, turn everything on, light this thing up, and run right into it and blow up. It's like there was nothing that was going to happen with this. One hit was going to take me out, so I might as well have just gone in a blaze of glory. So
the true space is death.
Exactly.
Right.
It's a really fun game. I'm really enjoying it. I'm glad I did.
I cannot wait for Everspace 2. Like, I just... Them changing that game from a roguelike into, hey, here's Space Diablo, is just like, oh no.
My only problem is that I bought it on PC, so now I have to fight with my wife for who gets to use my computer.
Sure, right.
Because I see her playing Sims 4, and I'm like, but don't you want to do something else?
She's like, no, the Star Wars update is coming out. Go away.
I know. She actually just bought another pack too for that. So
nice.
She's going whole hog. But last game that I played, Spiritfarer.
Yeah.
I have what are they calling it? Ascended? Sent on? Shoved
I just
off?
say like I said goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hugged and cried and whatever. I didn't actually cry, but I had this thought too. So I said goodbye to Alice and Summer. Is that the name of the snake lady?
Yeah.
Okay. Said goodbye to both of them. And I had the same moment as Moon was being worried about, because I was getting to the point where I couldn't advance Alice's story so that I could bring her to the gate. It just like all of a sudden dead stopped, and no matter what I did, I couldn't get it. I don't know if it like glitched for a moment or what.
Right.
But I couldn't get her off my boat. And so it went from being a sad story to, will you get off the boat and give me the thing you need
it's
to give
time
me?
to say goodbye.
I will kick you off right here in the middle of this ocean. I don't care anymore. But I did manage to get her off as well. So now I have Bruce and Mickey, which is awesome.
Oh, God. My least favorite characters in this game, but you're not supposed to like them, so like it sort of makes sense.
I don't even talk to him that much. It's just the simple fact that it's this hummingbird that is carrying a water buffalo on your ship.
Right, and like the buffalo or the bull or whatever it is doesn't talk at all. It's just the hummingbird.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
that
good.
I find hilarious. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I have. God, what? I'm messing with his quests, and I'm trying to do a couple other things. And that one thing that I do not like about this game is that you get all of these quests up front, and the vast majority of them, you don't get access to the items that you need to complete them until you are way further into the game.
Yeah.
So I kind of wish that they held it off where it's like if you opened up a new area, like you got the rock breaker or whatever, and then
someone says like, "Hey, I got a new mission for you."
Exactly.
Sure.
Instead of getting them all, and I'm trying to figure out how to make fried chicken. I know how to make fried chicken. I've made homemade fried chicken.
Right.
I just don't know how to get the things that I need in the game to make it. And then come to find out I had to make the crusher, which requires 3 items that I have absolutely no access to.
Yep.
So
yeah, because it's like, oh, you need chicken and fat. And I was like, what is fat? Like, did I pick up lard somewhere? Like, what am I doing? It's like, no, you crush sunflower seeds.
Gives you,
it gives you sunflower oil, and it's like, oh yeah, sure.
There's a couple different oils in the game, just like in real life, that you can use to do it. But it's just the simple fact that the game doesn't really tell you that, oh yeah, we gave you this, but you can't do this. So then you're wasting all this time looking for a way to do it. That kind of sucks. But besides that, though, the game's pretty awesome.
Yeah. So, it's a small team and it has a bunch of bugs, but like, and it has a bunch of progression issues like you're talking about, but like at the end of the day, it's sort of like, that stuff sort of doesn't matter because the game's pretty great.
I have noticed that when you're looking at the map for the game, the lower right section glitches, like it's phasing in and out.
Yeah, I had that every once in a while.
And when my ship is actually going through that area, the world actually is phasing in and out as well in that same area.
Oh, weird.
So that's kind of weird. But I mean, it's not preventing me from playing the game or anything. I couldn't tell if I was too tired playing the game or if the game broke.
Right. Yeah. I'm falling asleep. All right.
Yeah. So, but that's all I've been playing this week.
Oh, nice. All I played this week was No Man's Sky.
Nice.
Looking at my save files, it appears that every year on my birthday, I think I could play some No Man's Sky for a little bit, and I re-download it and I play it. Last year's playtime, 10 minutes. This year's playtime, 10 hours so far.
Nice.
No Man's Sky is in such a better place now, pretty much from top to bottom. Like, I haven't played for probably, I guess, as I just said, for probably about 2 years. Like, last time I really seriously played, they didn't even have, like, the upgrade trees for unlocking new stuff. They didn't have the space anomaly, didn't have all of that stuff inside of it. Like, they were like, oh, summon the space anomaly. I was like, yeah, you're right, not on Polo. Like, let's go see those guys. And I enter in, and my face at the time was just
chugs.
like, I was just like, what the hell is all of this stuff? What is all this stuff in here? Like, before it was just like a ramp and these 2 dudes, and now it's like, nah, here's all these other players, and here's where you buy all these upgrades and blueprints, and here's this guy that'll give you nano whatevers for milestones. And I'm just like, oh my god, there's so much in this game. And I think that all of these systems finally coming together finally made me like the game even more than I liked No Man's Sky a lot on launch, because it let me jump from planet to planet, see some cool stuff for a couple of minutes, and then keep moving on. Like, I just liked exploring the galaxy with there being virtually no risk. And if there was any risk, you just run away. Which is perfect for me, a chicken. Haha. But now, like, really early on, I found it still does the same thing it did before, where it's like, the first freighter you save, they're going to give it to you for free. So you get a freighter really early on. You're going to run into another ship really early on that will be an upgrade, but it's kind of in a bad spot. So you can easily now add that to your ship collection, which is great. Your ship collection gets stored on your frigate, which is great. And like, really early on, the ship that I saved had one of the broken modules was, hey, this ship will, while it's in the sun, will recharge its launch thrusters automatically. Not super fast, but if you're exploring, you'll come back. You might have another jump's worth of fuel in your launch thrusters. So I was like, man, I wonder how I can go get that. I'll go to the space anomaly. I will go look and say, here's this tree. At the end of it, you can go build this thing. And then I just go buy that, figure out how to build this stuff, go build it, and I'm done. Like, as opposed to, I guess I'll just explore until I luck upon it and hope for the best.
200 hours later, still not knowing what it is or what you need to do.
Right, and like the wiki is just like, we don't know how to get this either. It's just like, cool, great. I do appreciate and don't appreciate that the game has you build base stuff as part of the core story, the core tutorial storyline, because there's like 3 or 4 storylines now. I appreciate that they had you go through all that stuff to set up a base, build stuff, and it has you build a fairly significant amount of stuff. I just hate doing it in that game because I only want to do it on the perfect planet, asterisk, I will never find it. That's only when I want to build like my full thing and like I want to set up a perfect thing. So I dealt with it enough to like continue the storyline, like the Artemis storyline. And then I was just sort of like, all right, see you later. Pew, warp off to somewhere else.
Yeah. Mine's in the middle of an irradiated planet.
Perfect.
Yeah. But the best part is, as soon as you walk into your base, though, all your shields and everything start to recharge. So that's
and like your life support doesn't go down, so it's like you can just hang out in there. I have been playing a bunch of multiplayer with my wife, which I really like the multiplayer in this because we're both working on different stuff, but we're kind of like exploring the same area sometimes. And like I have like I made her an Atlas Pass V1 and I gave it to her because I found the plans pretty early on. So I was like, here, now you don't have to go hunt for it and you can open some of these boxes. And now I know how to get the version 2 and 3. But I really like that, like, we can be in the same game and I can be like 5 systems away from her and the game doesn't really care. Like we can be playing No Man's Sky at the same time, but not really. I feel like in a lot of these games it would be like, you can't leave this planet, your buddy's here. Like, why don't you both go up to the space station at the same time? You both warp at the same time. No Man's Sky's like, no man, like you can just hang out and play the same game, not together. That's fine. That's cool.
Which can cause you a lot of issues. Like I've said before, when I'm on a planet mining for something and all of a sudden spaceships start shooting me and I look to my son and he's like, oh yeah, I just killed 5 guys. And I was like, whoops, you little bastard.
Right. How dare you? But yeah, like we've talked about No Man's Sky a bunch on the show, sort of over the years as it's gotten better and better and better. And I feel like No Man's Sky is in a really solid place. Like I haven't built a mech, I haven't built a submarine, I haven't built an exocraft. I don't really want to interact with a lot of that stuff generally, because my favorite thing is going to another solar system, exploring all the stuff, looking at all the weird looking aliens that are walking around. It's like, look, that guy's got feet on his head. That's crazy. This planet has like a bunch of pokey stars all over it. That's nuts. Okay, cool. Moving on. Like, I want to be this tourist, but I never really want to like put down roots anywhere. So No Man's Sky is still really great for that, and it has a lot less roadblocks between you between you starting and doing the thing you want to do. Like I know I want to have my warp drive be more efficient so I can jump more without having to make warp fuel. So I can very specifically not even buy those blueprints. I can buy the modules where it's just like, hey, this in some fashion, this is going to improve your warp drive. It's, X hundreds of nano whatevers. Plug this in your ship. Okay, cool. Now you have 100% more effective warp drive, and now you can jump 200 more light years per jump. It's like, great. Yeah. That's literally what I don't want anything else to do with any of these other upgrades because I won't need them. I just want the thing I want to do, and I think that for me is No Man's Sky is in a much better spot.
Or you can just play like me and putz around in the starter ship and do absolutely nothing with it and decide you're going to the center of the galaxy with it.
Yeah, I'm still using the ship that you get from ordering the deluxe edition when it launched, which is like essentially your starter ship, but it's blue, and it looks like what I like in a spaceship, where it's not like this big bulky thing. It's like this really slim, like slick looking kind of stereotypical spaceship. Doesn't have a lot of slots, which is rapidly becoming a problem. So I'm going to have to upgrade to something else at some point. But
dude, upgrading your ship is stupid expensive in that game. Just like trying to get an extra inventory slot.
Yeah, money is not really a problem.
It still is for me. So
I've got $50 million sitting in the bank because when you find one of those large planets that has ancient bones on them, you just sort of start going ham on digging up a bunch of ancient bones. Like, oh, cool, this one's $4 million. Let's go sell that bad boy.
I've got those. It's a plant that has the that glowing orb that it grows.
Neutrino balls,
something where they sell like for like 50,000 a pop or something like that.
Yeah, those
I've
are
got
really
like
good.
This whole grow operation going on in my base of nothing.
I haven't even
those.
started that either. Like, yeah, they're like, oh yeah, here's a bunch of plants you can get that you can grow in your base. And it's just like, oh god, okay, I can't get invested in that because I'm gonna run my own farm and I have to go explore. I can't be tied down.
My base is such a redneck-looking base where I've got solar panels and wires and everything just running It's just duct tape and super glue, man.
Right. It's just like, watch your step. I haven't laid down any. Just there's a lot of wires. Just be careful. Yeah, but yeah, No Man's Sky is still. It's scratching that itch that I need clearly once a year, and then I just kind of explore, and I feel like I could. This could be the time where I play it a little bit more than I have before because that friction is so low now. Brain Eater in chat says Starbulb. Yes,
yep,
that's the one. But I feel like it's really clicking with me because the friction is so low, because it's so clear how you're going to upgrade so many things. That it's such a much more fun game this time than it has been in years past. But that's all I've been playing this week. Let's take a break.
Yep.
My son actually wanted to play No Man's Sky this weekend again. It's like, dude, I can't. Just let me take a nap after this, and then we'll look at it.
Right. Oh, man. Yeah. No Man's Sky is so good.
Well, and they fit like a lot of the issues that I was running into. Most of them are gone. I think I've only had like a few glitches here and there that weren't anything bad. Like, my son and I trying to figure out how to summon a ship outside of a mountain that it spawned into, and
right. Right. Yeah, we've run into very few issues where it's like, every once in a while I'll go set my ship down and it will just say like. It will just like keep flying for another minute and set itself down like a kilometer away from where I wanted it to go. And it's like, no, like I flew over here because I didn't want to run to that other place that I didn't want to go to.
Yeah. And Brain Eater, if my HOTAS worked with No Man's Sky, that would be fantastic.
Yeah. Does this support HOTAS?
Guys on Game Pass, I'm just saying.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure there is a mod for PC where you can get flight sticks to work with it.
Gotcha.
But I don't need another game to be kind of addicted to right now.
Yeah, I feel like there's plenty of things right now that we can be addicted to. Sorry, I'm just trying to order dinner here, and it's like not working.
Whatever.
Well, dude, maybe it would help if your entire state wasn't on fire.
Yeah, but it's summer. That's just a given.
Are they worried about transformers overheating or something, or?
No, it's because it's so hot that like everybody's running their air conditioning, and of course they like ask really nicely that like, hey, like let's not like run everything between 2 and 6 when it's the worst. But when they ask nicely, they're like, hey, look, like just set your thermometer like 85. Like, it's still going to keep you cool. Just don't put it at 70. And people are like, I can't believe. And it's like, guys, 70 is too cold anyway.
No, like, it's not.
You shouldn't be setting it at 70.
My thermostat stays at 69 year-round.
What is wrong with you? That's too cold.
I run really... I don't know if it's hot or cold or whatever, but it's like as soon as it hits like 71 or 72 in this house, I feel it.
That's insane.
No.
It's like 85 and I'm happy.
No, screw that. I can't deal with that anymore.
Oh, man.
I'm that fat guy who, you know, it's wintertime and I'm there, shorts, t-shirt, pair of gloves. No, I'm fine.
Right. And a hat.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Let me make sure my order is here, okay, and then we'll get started.
They used to be, when we were doing training out in California and we were out in the mountains for 3 months, nighttime used to be my favorite time because it would be like 110 during the day and I'd be dying. And then
it's like 45.
Like 20 degrees at night. And it's like,
night is so great. Good. Yeah, I'm like, you're sweating all day, and then I have like 2 or 3 blankets at night with the windows open. It's like, oh, yeah.
I wouldn't even have blankets because the tents that we had, they were one-man tents, and they were insulated. So your body heat would keep it warm.
Sure.
So, yeah, you would have frost like all over the outside of your tent, but it would still be like 70, 80 in your tent.
Yeah, you'd be comfortable enough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, look at that brain eater nose. AC set to 60 right now. Screw PG&E.
That's right. That's right. All right, you guys ready to wrap this guy up?
Yep.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of September 7th, 2020. Kingdoms of Amalur: Re-Reckoning comes out for PC, PS4, and Xbox One. Talking about super, super long games that you can really sink your teeth into. You probably pick up Persona 5 Royal for pretty cheap. Heyo! I liked Kingdoms of Amalur when it came out.
Dude, that's a bad example. That's like saying you can pick up a Nintendo game for pretty cheap. Come on.
Sure.
Persona games do not go on discount ever.
It's on sale right now for 35 to $40 for Persona 4
by
Royal.
any chance?
What's that?
Digitally?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's why.
Yeah.
Physical copies just don't go on.
Physical copies. I mean, I could probably sell my collector's edition for $100 right now.
Amazon and Best Buy are both selling them for $40 physical. Anyways, Kingdoms of Amalur I liked a lot on 360. It's stupid big. Like, I think I spent 60 hours and got maybe 40% of the way through, so yikes.
My wife dug deep into that, and she kind of lost it with her OCD because she kind of had the overwhelming thing of she was doing fine with quests, and then she got to some chapter, and all of a sudden she got literally 80 quests at once.
Yeah, everyone in town has 15 quests. Yeah. I think I got to that same point too, where it's like, look at this lovely tiny fishing village, and everyone's like, hey, let's talk to you. 12 quests. It's like, why? There's so much wrong in this village. Just move.
Exactly.
Let's move on to news stories. Speaking of giant games to get lost into, The Witcher 3 is getting a brand new edition for next-gen consoles. Before you start saying, LOL, let's buy The Witcher 3 again, this is a free upgrade. Except for the Switch, for obvious reasons you'll hear in a second. PS4 to PS5, Xbox One to Series X. Update will add ray tracing, better load times, HDR for the PC version, hooray! And a whole bunch of other improvements. This update will apply to the base game and all expansions and all the other additional DLC that came out. Sort of, they trickled that out along the way. And last note here, Moon finally has a reason to play this game. You should play this game. Your reason should be Witcher 3 is really great. But now, with ray tracing and faster load times, it'll be really good.
I've had it installed for like 3 years.
We've all had it installed for forever. Yeah. Witcher 3 is really good. And I think, especially the better load times, we patched in longer load times. I think with the better load times, I think I think it'll be much nicer. Next news story, Nintendo celebrates Mario's 35th anniversary as I turn to dust with some new game announcements. First up was Super Mario 3D All-Stars coming out for the Switch. This is Mario 64, Sunshine, and Galaxy 1, coming all in one bundle. They've all been expanded for widescreen. They run at 60 frames, yada yada yada. Comes out September 18th. Limited. Only available for purchase physically and digitally. Will be available until March 31st, 2021. That's confusing. I don't understand. The only thing I can assume is that after that they will sell all of them individually. That would be my hope. The reality is probably going to be, you didn't buy it. What are you doing? We're not making those anymore. What are you talking about? Buy the Switch 2. The
good news is finally people can play the best Mario game, Mario Sunshine.
Galaxy. Oh, Sunshine. Yeah. Sunshine is a really great game that I think Sunshine is a really good Mario game that gets way more hate than it should. A lot of the bonus levels are designed by Satan himself. But I think
yes, they are.
I think the rest of that game is fairly solid. I think 64 is good in its own right. I think Galaxy is really great. But I'm glad that a lot of people are going to be able to, especially those that are younger. I think these are the 3 modern Mario games you should play. So it's nice to have them all in one bundle.
For the record, Galaxy is the best of the 3.
Yeah, Galaxy is really good. And I never finished it, and I had always regretted it. And now I can finally finish it because Galaxy is really good. They also announced Super Mario 35. It's like Tetris 99, but you're doing Mario platforming.
So I missed this direct. I heard a lot of the news that came out afterwards. Does this have collision physics with every single person?
No, so you're playing your own Mario game, but when you kill enemies, you're sending those enemies to other people's screens.
Oh, no.
So it's like when you clear a line in Tetris and you send your junk to someone else, and it has the same right stick attacking people that Tetris 99 does. So it looks really wild. It looks really cool, and I am really interested in trying that out because it looks really bonkers. They also announced Super Mario Brothers Game & Watch. Whatever. They also announced, lastly, they announced Mario Kart Live Home Circuit. It took me a little bit of time in this trailer to figure out exactly what they were doing. So it's like an RC Mario Kart with an AR camera on the top of it that you remotely control, and you set up these gates in your house, and then you drive throughout your house, but on your Switch, it shows a Mario Kart course, and you're picking up upgrades, and you're racing against other people through your house, and you draw the line itself, and it looks really cool.
Looks a little insane.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's I'm not entirely sure what we're doing here, and then when they start setting down the gates and you start seeing them drawing the course and drawing curves and loop-de-loops and crisscrosses, it's just oh, okay, cool. Now I'm sort of getting what you're putting down here. No pun intended. But that looks really cool. I think Super Mario 35 is one of those things where it's all right, when Tetris 99 was announced, where it's okay, this seems a little bit crazy, but I'm not entirely sure what we're doing here. But I think after Tetris 99 being so solid, I think I'm a lot more excited about this coming out than before. They also on like the Super NES Virtual Console, they also put out Mario All-Stars, which is like Mario 1, 2, 3, and the Lost Levels with like it was like the remaster where they updated the graphics and everything. So a lot of cool stuff. Let's move on to our last news story here. We don't talk a lot about video cards and like PC tech here because a lot of it moves fairly fast. But boy, NVIDIA announced their Ampere cards today. I keep trying to want to say like Ampere, like be really fancy about it, but it's Ampere. This is NVIDIA's 3000 series, sort of superseding the 2000 series. That is the hotness right now. This is the first NVIDIA GPUs based on Samsung's 8 nanometer manufacturing process, so super duper tiny. Also uses the new GDDR6X memory standard. They announced 3 cards. Across all of the cards, they're really pushing for doubling the performance of ray tracing, sort of across all of them. 4K 60 frame support across all of them. We'll talk about. They have 8K support on them, based on the HDMI and DisplayPort standards that they're using for the connectors. So they'll be able to do 8K. The 3070 has 8 gigs of RAM, a whole bunch of other stuff. We're only really going to talk about the RAM because the rest of it is really very much like talking about teraflops. It's like you're getting a little too in the weeds. 3070 is coming out in October. That'll be $500. So that's like their new lower model. The 3080, which comes with 10 gigs, this seems to be the real sweet spot. This will probably be the card that is hard to find was. That comes out September 17th. That's $500. Apologies for anyone watching the video. Creative Cloud just wanted to let me know that it updated Illustrator. Thanks, Creative Cloud. I can't close you anymore. That seems like the real sweet spot because that's a really strong card. And for $700, like only $200 over the 3080, the 3070, that seems really strong. The big guy, the RTX 3090, coming out September 24th, has 24 gigs of RAM. $1,500. I wrote in the show notes here. I did not mistype that. It's $1,500.
And it's about the size of a shoebox.
It's him big. Like that's a big card. Like that's one of those ones where it's like, am I gonna have to buy a case specifically for my video card now? Where it's like just a little bit. It's like those trucks that are just like a little bit wider than all the other ones. But that card
looks like a bog.
Yes. Yeah, it's really big. And that one
like a Borg when you put tethers on it to help support it in your case.
That's yeah, you have to tie it down so it doesn't fly away. This is the one where they're pushing 8K, where it's like, hey, if you want to start doing 8K content, this is really the one. If you're playing a lot of games, this is probably not the card you want. If you're working on The Mandalorian with Unreal Engine 5, so this is probably the video card you're going to be getting. But hey, no, let me tell you where to spend your money. This computer I'm using cost $1,500 with a video card too. But the silver lining for all of this, Moonpier, is that you and I can probably find 2060s on eBay later this month for probably pretty cheap. No more robot voice. But yeah, if you're not super interested in staying on the bleeding edge of this stuff, like I'm running a 1060 and it's doing mostly fine for 1080p 60 stuff. It does ray tracing, but it's not going to do it really well. I think once these cards start coming out, that's the best time. Hit Craigslist, hit eBay, look for the people that are dumping 2060s, 2080s. They're going to be dumping them for pretty cheap because those cards are still fairly expensive. Because they're going to be upgrading to probably the 3080 because $700 is a pretty sweet spot for a brand new card that is significantly more powerful than the 2000 range of cards, which is really crazy.
And hey, keep your eye on retailers right now because they'll probably start trying to get rid of the old stock to get the new stock in. So
yeah, it's the 3080 is coming out in 11 days at the time of this recording, so like there should be starting to be some fire sales on 2060s, 2080s, and those are good cards. I mean, they're obviously not as good as the 3000 because they're making a huge technology leap on these cards here, but you know they're also $700 or $1,500 if you just want to spend the price of 2 new next gen consoles, maybe, hopefully less than that. Sony and Microsoft, cough, cough, cough. But that's all of our news stories, and we didn't really have any questions this week. So that's the end of our episode, which means that I can go sit in front of an air conditioner or maybe stick my head in a freezer. If you'd like to visit us, you can do so at tvgp.tv. Everywhere, find and follow us on the right-hand side of the page, including the merch store where we have a bunch of shirts for your perusal. Patreon.com/E1M1. The ones are numbers. As we talked about before, get hundreds of episodes of audio. I think this week we'll be releasing 3 new episodes between the 2 We Roguelike and the Outcast, and God, maybe even Critical Misses at the same time. So 3 to 4 new episodes for $5.
We literally produce so much content, we don't know what content is going out anymore.
I schedule it. It's funny when I schedule Critical Misses on the public feed, I have to like look at 2 months in advance, and I'm like publishing stuff that's coming out in December and January now, and it's like, oh boy, okay. So if you want to get 2-month early access to Critical Misses, which should be starting our brand new 2nd season here pretty soon, if you want to get caught up on the Fast Saga, you can do so at patreon.com/.
You should go watch those movies as well.
Yeah, and I hope if you've never seen those before, I really hope that people are watching them along with us. Where if you haven't listened to Critical Misses, the first short part of the episode is us before we've seen the movie, and then we go watch the movie, and then we come back and talk about it. So once you hear the applause, stop the episode, go watch the movie, and then join us for see which one of our predictions about famous, surprising Hollywood actors showing up in these movies, if they were right or wrong. We're still working on the Sexy Brutale for Game Club. That's
really
coming
should
up.
Start that, shouldn't I?
I really should. I bought it. I did the first step.
Me too. Literally the day we recorded the last episode of Game Club, I was like, yeah, okay, I'll go downstairs and I'll buy that. I'll install it. No. Yeah,
I just haven't had that impetus yet. And I think that's it. So we'll see you all next week.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, Nimp, hit me with your titles.
Okay. I have But Dark Funny. Behold My Art. Thankfully Not 95. I Hit the Bumpers. I Am the God. The Other Wills or Wisps. Bars to Fill. And For Rock and Stone.
All right, Moon, what about you?
Mostly dark funny. The Peasants They Are. The Answer Is Yes. Pinball Idiot. Dwarven Dancing. I Do and I Don't. And Nano Whatevers.
Nano Whatevers. I have It Got Dark Really Quickly, Mostly Dark Funny, The God of Pinball, which I put a check mark next to, Behold My Art, the peasants they are, and nano whatevers. I like the God of Pinball for obvious reasons.
Me continuing to make myself look like a sociopath.
I was gonna say sociopath. I like when you're like the once every other year when your latent competitive nature bursts forth like an alien.
My wife's influence shows is what you're saying.
Right. It's just it's really good.
Hey, on the plus side, at least you're spreading out your psychopathness between multiple shows where people have to actually kind of dig for it now.
Right.
Whereas earlier it was like back to back to back to back to back.
Yeah, okay.
I also like mostly dark funny and nano whatevers.
Jimbo says money ... is no issue.
That's pretty good. I think for me it's probably between the God of Pinball and nano whatevers.
Yeah. I think it's one of those two. If you feel the need to make me a sociopath, that's fine. We can make me a sociopath.
I'm just trying to think, because both of them are fairly strong by themselves.
True.
I'm leaning
Flip a coin, Boston. Flip a coin.
All right. Google coin flip. Head is God of Pinball, which I'm liking the more I'm looking at it, and tails is nano whatevers. Flip. That's tails, so nano whatevers.
Or we can
unless
go with God with Pinball.
unless anyone has an objection.
I just know that you two were starting to look at me, and I'm too tired to care right now which one we go with.
We both say the nymph, and you're like, I don't care.
I may or may not have literally just this second got a tweet response from Chuck saying grrr, because I tweeted about 6 hours ago, catch me if you can. So I'm guessing he may have been trying and failed.
So I think we should select the God of Pinball.
Yep, sounds like a plan.
May his reign ever be everlasting.
Like literally, it just happened. Like he has accidentally had a say in our titles.
I circled the God of Pinball then. Let me know when you guys are ready.
Okay, hold on.
Are you like crap talking Chuck right now?
No.
Okay, I thought you were like, hold on, I gotta send this tweet. How dare you mother.
You don't know it now, but wait 3 hours and you'll know then.
All right.
No, I'm trying to think of a quote from What's His Face from 300, but you've just given me an even better idea, so we'll go with that instead.
Okay.
I'm good. Yeah.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 672 for September 7th, 2020. The God of Pinball.
It's me. That's it. Send tweet.
And may he look down upon you favorably with infinite multi-balls.
All right, thank you so much, everyone, for listening and watching. We'll see you all next week. Bye.